Picture this. You're walking down a narrow, neon-lit alley in Tokyo. On a really good night, you can catch 3 brand new underground bands you've literally never heard of. Step out of a cramped, sweaty basement, walk maybe 5 minutes down the street, and do the exact same thing all over again. Well, welcome to this explainer. Today we're exploring Shimokitazawa, which is hands down the undisputed live music and subculture capital of Tokyo. If you've ever wanted to navigate Tokyo's hidden basement scene like a true local, you are absolutely in the right place. All right, let's dive right into this. Here is our roadmap for today. First, Tokyo's subculture capital. Second, the anatomy of a live house. Third, the essential venue guide. Fourth, the cost of a night. And lastly, your Shimokitazawa Playbook. Section 1, Tokyo's subculture capital. So, you might be wondering, is this neighborhood just some recent trendy hotspot? Actually, no. It's been a massive hub for subculture since all the way back in the 1960s. Because it was relatively cheap and right in the center of things, it naturally pulled in musicians, actors, and, the physical spaces they needed to create. Generations of Japanese indie and rock bands cut their teeth on these exact stages, way before they ever filled up big corporate concert halls. And honestly, the absolute best part about it, the scene is small by design. Most of these rooms hold maybe 50 to 100 people tops, so you're prioritizing these close-up, visceral experiences over massive crowds. You are literally never far from the noise, and you are definitely never far from the band. Moving right along to Section 2, Anatomy of a Live House. Okay, so the absolute most crucial concept to grasp here is the live house. Sounds a bit mysterious, right? But it's actually just a small live music club. The format, however, is incredibly unique. Basically, you pay one flat door charge, and that cover, it's for the entire night's lineup. You aren't just showing up for a single massive headliner taking the stage at, say, 9 p.m. You are buying an entire evening of musical discovery. In these intimate little rooms, finding a brand new favorite band is literally the whole point of the experience. What you're really paying for is something called a Taiban bill. Think of it like a giant buffet of live, raw talent. A typical night stacks 3 to 5 really short sets by entirely different bands, all behind that single door charge we just talked about. And the turnover on stage, it's incredibly brisk. They swap over so quickly, which keeps the energy super high and the music constantly flowing. It is just nonstop. Section 3, the essential venue guide. Let's map out the neighborhood a bit. First up, you've got the absolute legends. Shelter has been the indie and rock benchmark since 1991. It's this small, low-ceilinged room that's hosted incredible bands long before they blew up. Right next door in spirit is Club Q, which is the ultimate staple if you're into guitar bands. And if you're feeling adventurous, 3 runs these really eclectic, genre-hopping bills. Honestly, those 3 rarely disappoint. Then we get to the truly intimate rooms, Basement Bar and 440. And yeah, it's pronounced 440. These places are tiny, even by local Tokyo standards. 440 is incredibly acoustic friendly. It's the kind of place built for such close-up sets that you can literally see the set list taped to the floor. Finally, if you do want something just a bit larger, Garden draws touring acts and bigger name shows when they pass through town. But wait, Shimokitazawa isn't just about the music. It is equally famous as Tokyo's theater town. So while live houses give you quick turnover indie bands, the small theaters offer these amazing fringe productions with highly physical, visual staging. The whole scene is anchored by Honda Gekijo, which opened back in 1982 and essentially seated a whole cluster of little stages all around it. And then, oh man, there is the Suzunari. It's a much-loved, wonderfully ramshackle landmark that honestly looks like it's held together by duct tape, but it has launched countless careers. Even though most of the plays are in Japanese, the physical staging makes it a spectacular window into the neighborhood's creative soul. So if your night isn't about bands, it can just as easily be about catching an amazing play. Section 4, the cost of a night. So what does this all mean for your wallet? Actually, it's highly accessible, especially compared to those massive corporate concert halls. For a live house cover, which, remember, covers the whole Taiban bill for the night, you are looking at about 2,000 to 3,500 yen. If you decide to opt for a small theater seat instead, expect to pay somewhere between 3,000 and 5,000 yen, depending on how famous the production is. And for drinks at the local bars and izakayas in between sets, that's going to run you anywhere from a few hundred up to 1,000 yen per drink, mostly in cash. The really beautiful thing here is knowing that your money is going directly to the physical rooms and to the artists themselves. But hold on, there is one super crucial logistical detail you absolutely cannot forget. 600 yen. At almost every single live house, on top of the door cover, there is a mandatory one-drink minimum. This almost always costs exactly 600 yen. It's essentially a standard rule across the board, so always factor that into your budget before you even walk up to the door. Finally, Section 5, your Shimokitazawa Playbook. Booking a show might seem kind of intimidating at first, especially in a foreign city. But the order of operations is actually a breeze. Step 1, just browse the monthly venue schedules online. Step 2, pick a night based on the room and the lineup. Step 3, buy advance tickets through the venue or a ticketing site to lock in a lower price, or honestly, just turn up and pay at the door if it's not sold out. Step 4, arrive right around the start time. Trade your ticket for a wristband and that all-important drink token we just mentioned and head on inside. It really is that straightforward once you know the drill. Now, I want to share a vital insider secret with you from Food and Cafes writer Theo Nakagawa. He hits the nail on the head here. He advises, eat before doors, not after. Most live houses only serve drinks. This is so true. The absolute pro-local move is to graze rather than sit down for one massive heavy meal. The lanes are completely full of these tiny standing bars and counters. You definitely want to grab a few skewers here, maybe hit up one of the area's famous quick and filling curry counters, and then head to the basement. Do this first so you can stay for the entire bill without your energy completely tanking mid-show. On the flip side of planning, we have this awesome, totally spontaneous advice from music and culture writer Sayori Mizuno. She says, do not overplan. Buy one advance ticket for a band you want, then let the night decide the rest. Half the best sets I have seen were rooms I walked past and heard. This is brilliant advice, especially for weekday gigs. They're usually cheaper and they rarely sell out. Weekends, for sure, bring the strongest bills and the busiest streets, but a weeknight, it's absolutely perfect for just wandering around and following the noise to see where you end up. All right, so here is your perfect timeline. Early evening. Graze at those tiny standing izakayas and grab some curry. Showtime. Trade your ticket at the live house, secure your drink token, and enjoy those rapid-fire short sets. But please, and I really can't stress this enough, keep a close eye on the clock. Most live houses and theaters are incredibly walkable, just a couple of minutes from Shimokitazawa Station, but the shows can and do run late. The last trains leave the station right around midnight. So unless you're planning on pulling a very long, very expensive all-nighter, do not miss that train. Well, we've covered a whole lot of ground today, from the 1960s roots of this incredible neighborhood all the way to the exact steps for trading your yen for a drink token in a sweaty, legendary basement. The energy of Shimokitazawa is just completely infectious. It is a place perfectly engineered for discovery and live art. So I'm going to leave you with this final thought for your own adventure. When you head to Tokyo's subculture capital, will you book your ticket in advance for a sure thing, or are you going to let the night decide the rest? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and hey, keep exploring.